Hello, this is Farrell Vincent with Nation 473. I wanted to talk briefly about some mid range fleets and fleet formations. And the main reason behind that was just, we have this video that it will hopefully upload. YouTube's been having some issues. And, I started to make this video, but we had some issues with that too. So I apologize this isn't coming out as fast as the other video should be. Seeing as I made it about 5 days ago, I've been trying to get videos uploading. It's just too many issues. But I wanted to talk a little bit about mid-range fleets. And the main reason behind that was, I wanted to talk about lessons learned from my initial, views and tests and fights and battles. And, I'm not winning everything because I'm kind of testing myself really bad. But like this was rough battle for me. But we definitely we're learning some lessons and we're really just hampering down on some things. This guy has some incredible stats as far as damage reduction and a few other things. So, he just stomped. Right. And you can kind of see where all of this plays into effect, because I really need to get these damage reductions and increased damages up. But when it comes to the fleets and what is working, right, I've noticed a few different fleets are performing better than others. So based on what I've noticed, whenever I am doing a mid-range fleet anymore, specifically for the uranium mines, I've been rolling with about 20,000 cannons. 20,000 tanks. I'm on T11 troops. You could easily substitute that for, 10,000 Wasteland Kings, right? So if you're a little bit lower than that, or if you don't have that count of tanks yet, there is something to think about. I still don't fully recommend anyone goes mid-range prior to C35. I feel like earlier than that, it's just not as beneficial as being a long-range city. Now, that's assuming you built long-range to start with. If you built mid-range the whole time, you can just kind of eat through that awkward period where the T10 rockets are your sort of go-to troop. Right. And it's the same with long-range cities. Long-range cities have this awkward phase at T10 where you really want to be using EMP cannons. And in this case, you just don't have a good troop alternative until you get those T11 stormtroopers. But kind of back to the crux of this. So we've got about 100,000 front row, right, which is about a third of my fleet, just a little bit under. And then we're rolling with about 26,000. I recommend 5 to 10% of your fleet is back row. And you want to have more than one troop type. And the reason why that's important is when you're fighting, not only will the Titan lightning hit them, but you'll also find that your Titans live a little bit longer. And that's the whole goal, is you want your Titans to live through the first Medici bomb without getting hit. And Medici bomb goes off every 10 seconds, right? So you want to at least have your back row alive for 10 seconds. After that, it's a little superfluous because then it becomes the grind fest. Who can kill who faster? I'm maxing out the T12 rockets because why the hell not? They're great. If I had the count to, I would be maxing out the Havoc Dominators or the T11 Stormtroopers as well. That's only because my fleet doesn't have the ability to give me full rockets. Like when I get another approximately 100,000 rockets, I'm going to be sending about 200K of these guys when I get there. But in the meantime, I will be very soon working on the T11 Stormtrooper. This particular unit is actually very, very good. And it works really good in tandem with the rockets for PvP battles. Since I'm here, I'm actually using the Gatling guns or the T11 gunners. But I'll explain why I'm using two damaged troops. There is a good benefit to having these double damage troops for your city when you get to a certain level. And I know I've talked briefly about this in other videos, but I just want to highlight this here. When you get Katie's breakthrough skill, your troops that have the most units have a 35% chance to deal another normal attack, dealing 18% damage. So the goal should be for me, right, as I want to have, 100K gunners or 101,000 gunners, right, just so that I can be just over the tanks. And at the same time also have that, 101,000 at least rockets. And the reason is it lets this go off from the two different troop types, and it makes it way more beneficial, right? You're going to find that you're killing enemy titans and other things when you're using two damage sources. My fleet also works decent in tandem with Simon. Simon has a breakthrough that, gives damage reduction to the four types. My defense fleet specifically, I do 50-50 between the T11 axes and the T11 tanks. So that one actually does give me the four troop types and the extra damage reduction. And I don't have hers yet. So you can see where some of these choices that I've made kind of help me to attack in a way that lets me beat some of these big guys. I mean, we've got this particular Doom Unicorn, if you will, who's rolling T12, so it's at least a C36, 1,024 LRA, right? 831, generally much better stats in general, right? And I managed to beat him because I'm mid-range, not because I'm stronger than him, right? Like my stats, I'm sitting at, just under 900% MRA, right? I'm not that much stronger. Well, I'm actually not stronger than him at all. So when you kind of watch these big fights where, you have, again, 104, 109, right? Katie's abilities are going off, and it lets me get on top of them. The other thing that this particular individual did that didn't do them any favors is they didn't have nearly enough melee. But you'll see, right? Like I'm on top of his snipers right now, and I still have my full back row alive, which is the Titans and Warplane, right? So that is the goal. That's the dream, right? You want to be on their damage dealing troops with your Titans alive. I mean, if you've got that, you're generally good to go for most mid-range fights. And that's why I keep that back row in there. I think, if I remember right, we should be able to go to a fight like this one where, I don't have that back row, right? And so at this moment, you can see my troops are all dying. And my Titan, my female Titan just got chunked. She just got chunked again. She's dead, right? There's no back row here, so the zombies are shooting the green goop over there. The cannons are using their ability that's causing that to happen. And, on top of that, in the uranium mines, you also get Medici bombs. And those three things will just murder your Titans out. So, again, this video is kind of the PSA on the importance of Titans for mid-range cities, but also how to keep them alive a little bit longer, right? It's to say, hey, I know you're playing mid-range, but you really do need a few back row troops because it does help. The longer they live, the more your Titans live, the better. I will say in events like Triangle War, though, where you're going to find yourself having to, fight multiple battles in a row, your Titans will resurrect between battles. So it's totally okay to not have the back row on, on Triangle War. It's okay to not have the back row when you're attacking cities, especially if you're team attacking cities, right? when you're doing events that don't require you to have multiple fights in a row, I highly recommend not bothering with that. But like Uranium Mines, Titans are king. And any fight that you're going to be 1-on-1 or 1v1, it does help. I am sending it with my like SOS fleet, for instance. So I'm using the exact same fleet for SOS. I'm using the exact same fleet for Frenzy, right? So just call outs, things to think about. I hope that helps everyone. Of course, let me know what you think about the fleets down below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. And again, apologies for the delay. YouTube and I just did not get along on uploading a few videos. And it caused some issues with the previous video on my previous recording. So if you notice a little bit of a jarring jump between videos, and there's a couple of topics that I wanted to cover, but I can't anymore because the battle reports are all purged. I just wanted to kind of jump in, give you guys some more content. Again, apologies for the delay. There were genuine system issues on this side. So we'll see a bunch more coming up here soon. Thank you guys so much.